Sync on 3. 1, 2, 3. Thanks, Mason.
You missed it.
You missed it, Bryce.
You missed it, Bryce.
You're too
I
late.
didn't miss anything.
You're too slow.
I'm too fast.
You're
And squirt.
You're a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck, Bryce. God.
Is that a
Figure it out.
Yu-Gi-Oh
What
quote?
a burn.
Is that
Gotta
a
catch them
Yu-Gi-Oh?
all.
You gotta catch them all. That's right. Anyway. I got the grins right now. Sorry.
From squirt or
From F and Squirt, yeah. It's the best.
What do we review?
Can that
Oh,
be a
American Psycho.
can that be a thumbnail?
American Psycho.
Well, the American version of Psycho.
Oh no, I watched the wrong movie then.
Yeah, did you get...
Wait.
So you
Hold
guys...
pause.
You guys
Wait,
didn't
hold
watch
up.
Psycho?
You guys didn't watch Psycho.
It said American Psycho.
This is
I said
bit.
American, and then I told you guys that day the American version, not the European version.
I watched it with Christian Bale.
Christian, the fucking Mimi Christian Bale one.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me, Bryce?
It says American Psycho.
I said that day, guys. I mean this would be the American
The wheel
version.
said American
Wait a minute.
Psycho.
This isn't a bit right now?
No.
I watched American Psycho.
I watched Psycho.
I watched Psycho. Nathan, I said this.
That
right?
makes
Yeah.
no fucking sense. The
Nathan
wheel,
Why?
said
the
that.
wheel said American Psycho.
No, this is bullshit. We watched the trailer for American
Yeah, we
This is
did.
a bit. This is a bit.
Shut the fuck up.
Welcome to
It
another.
took me that long to figure it out. I was like, we watched a
All right,
trailer.
I was wondering if they were gonna give that.
I wasn't there, and I wasn't gonna watch Psycho either.
Mason's deductive skills got me again.
I'm not there.
Unlike Defoe's detective skills, we'll talk more about that later. Welcome to the F Movie Podcast. I'm your host Dylan, with Nathan, Mason, and Bryce. Two of the most culprit people I know, and Nathan.
That was
And-
beautiful.
It's-
Yeah, that was good, Nathan. You did well.
Yeah. it's the execution. It's the confidence. I'll talk more about my niece on this later. That's something she picked up from me.
Oh, I thought
She-
her name was Confidence.
No, she'll tell you something that's terribly wrong, but she says it completely like it is the truth. I love her. She's
Yes.
We
delightful.
went through 4 years of that from about 2016 to 2020.
Oh.
Oh, okay. That's a political joke.
There
guys.
we go, boys.
Sorry,
COVID?
my bit was funnier.
COVID?
Anyways, we're here to talk about American Psycho, not to be confused with the American version of Psycho, but I believed that they would think that there is a European version. There's not, but I believed I could convince them that
I
they
will
could.
beat you
I'm tired already.
with this egg.
Mhm. I gotta lay it myself on this one. Dylan, what's this? What's American Psycho about? I got you, fam. So, American Psycho follows the titular character, Patrick Bateman, played by Christian Bale, being a fucking murderous robot throughout this entire film in what appears to be New York, Wall Street high culture, full of drug affairs and all that jazz, and it's a nice, wonderful narrative critique on greedy, rich people of this
From, like, the
nature.
80s?
From the 80s.
It's 80s.
Okay.
Specifically in the period of the 80s.
It's definitely 80s. It's like 87 or something.
Yeah. Specifically from that time period, and Patrick Bateman just is murdering people, or is he? That's more for later. But that's more or less the concept, because I like it short, and brief. I could get more into it, but that's kind of what this whole next part is. So, guys, what did we think of this movie?
I want to go first.
Go for
Oh.
it.
The first half of this movie was outstanding. I loved every single minute of the first half of this movie because I had the voiceover narration during it. Witty, just every single thing that he said was just like, wow, this guy's crazy. Like and half the time he would say it to someone, like the bartender in the bar. He would
And
say
they
it
were
out
just
loud.
ignoring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just this like I don't know. I was very, very involved with this, but like there was a certain point where it just started to really teeter off. And the best thing about the first half was like he didn't do anything. I mean, he hadn't even done anything yet.
Yeah.
So I was just like expecting
Like,
there to be a lot
There's
more.
just this degree of menace
Yes.
Right.
to
Yes.
his overall demeanor.
Yeah.
Had you seen it before?
No.
Bryce, did you
What's
see-
everybody? So you had already seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I had
We
seen
have
it
already seen it,
very
yeah.
far. Yeah, but it was so long and away that
Same here,
I remember scenes, but none of the context
It's
made
been a
sense.
very long time for me.
Right. So this is my first adult brain viewing where I understood
okay.
Simon.
Same
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
I was smarter when I was younger, but
That's not true.
Yeah. 2010 was
Remember when I said saying something confidently wrong? That's Price Bell, really. But yeah, so okay, so the first half you're with it, and then once it starts going psycho, I'm guessing it starts
Well,
losing.
it-
Like what?
See, I thought that like at least a decent chunk of
Yes.
that would have you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
him running with the chainsaw.
No, and that was
Yeah.
great too. Like it wasn't like as soon as he started
Great
murdering people, it was bad. It was just like Like at one point, I think the worst part of the whole movie was when he pulled the pistol out and he like had the cat at the ATM and it was like telling it to feed the cat to it. And then like he
And
just
then the
starts
cops.
Carl Grimings everybody like
Yeah.
headshots from
Shooting the
60
cars,
yards.
And the cars explode, and even he's
Yeah,
baffled by his own
Yeah.
insanity of it all.
From
right?
that moment on, it was very strange,
much.
ridiculous. I was like, all right, this is a dream. This is a dream. This is fine.
That's
this
what I
is a
kept telling
dream.
myself too.
Right.
And then it just kept going. And then another day or two had passed, and I was like, okay, that
But
happened,
the,
wink, wink. And
but
then,
the dream part does loop though. Like it immediately loops to let you know that it's like
but then,
you should really be questioning.
But
it.
then it tries to tie it up with a pretty bow at the end.
With the lawyer.
With the lawyer, the
Uh-huh.
voicemail, the woman that is showing
The house.
Paul Allen's
Yeah.
condo.
Yeah.
And you know, and all this stuff, and I was like, okay, you got me. I don't think you got me though. Like it was just this really
No,
weird.
There was no indication that anything about that was not genuine up until that point.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Well-
my main issue with it. It was like I just wish it wasn't so night and day. They had such a good movie going.
Yes. Yes.
I have
and
a
no.
question
Yes
for you.
and
Do
no.
you think the detective was real?
Ever?
I would assume so, but then again,
But that would
it's
have to
coming from
imply
a crazy
that he had to
person.
have disappeared and then do this.
Yeah.
So there.
Not Josh Allen.
Uh,
Paul Allen.
Paul Allen. Yeah.
Josh Allen's a.
I killed Paul Allen, and that.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna lead with like my overall opinion on this and say that I like this movie. I actually do. I came out positive.
I knew he would.
I came out positive on this. Oh, because critics probably liked it, I guess. I don't know. I still haven't looked up the scores for it yet. I was going to do that when we get to the score part. But they probably did. It's American Psycho. That seems like a movie they'd like. But no, I think that this movie does a lot of things really right. So if, aside from like because now I can't say anything critically thing, otherwise Bryce would be like, see, it's a critical thought. So here's my personal thing with it. This movie plays with the tone of reality the entire time. Like, you mentioned, like, the bartender scene when he's, like, screaming, he's like, I'll stab you and play with your blood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, but it's, like, booming in a club. I've said absurd things to them before.
Yeah, you
and
say stuff under your breath.
Right. But I actually
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
that happens so... I forgot that happened so early in the movie. So they have already set up the premise that this is, like... Did that actually happen? Like, that's a question that should kind of be... continually being asked throughout the entire time. Now, this movie is based on the book, of which I don't remember the exact name, but the book ends in an ambiguous manner as well. It isn't like in the same way as this movie does. Apparently, the movie takes the book to the next level from like what I've seen from the comparisons between. But overall, it just embellishes in the perverse mind of it, and like the greed and the obsession, and it's all power, and that's all like the heavy themes of 80s Wall Street. Hell, look at Wolf of Wall Street. You see practically the same movie conceptually speaking. It's all just excess.
Minus narration.
Right, minus
That
the
was it.
narration. But here's the thing that really I think I think you either get on board or you totally don't, and that's Bale's performance as Bateman.
Oh my god.
That's the only part I was on board
The
with.
See,
most
that's-
incredible
It's so interesting though,
character, I think,
Yeah.
this season for sure.
right?
Like,
Character-wise,
flat
I actually probably want to give that to you because it was one of these ones where it's so robotic and out of touch out of being a human that's trying to be a human, and I think that I could see where somebody would be like, this sucks. Like, it is a little jarring, but it's so intentionally jarring that I was like, no, I kind of fuck with this. Like,
well, I mean, you think of Christian Bale, you think of Batman, you think
Right.
of Out of the Furnace, you think of some of these movies where he's,
The Machinist.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then you see this, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, he is crazy, and he can switch on a dime to, back to normal and talk the walk
Right.
with Wall Street people.
To me, it's like I would think from a like psychological perspective,
Mhm.
it's a pretty good interpretation of a true psychopath.
Right, like somebody who's blending
with
in.
like real antisocial personality disorder, like somebody who is successfully faking it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
is
Thriving
that's
in
always
it as well,
the,
too.
and I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's the thing about that type of personality is people glom onto them and think so highly of them,
Yeah.
Right.
despite the fact that they're totally faking everything.
That
about
they hate everyone around them.
Yeah.
Right. Like, again, so much of, like, the cultural point and be like, look at how fucked this culture is, right? Because that's what the movie's purpose is. Bateman's just a vehicle for the embellishment and insanity of it.
Yeah, because he's surrounded by a lot of
As equally shitty, awful people who are doing nothing but terrible, awful things and critiquing women and their view of people in general.
I don't know, not like aggressively awful, but just
But very
like,
believably awful, though, right?
Like they're all so similar to him
Yeah.
too. Like you just may not be seeing how crazy all the rest of them are.
It wasn't just the guys either. I mean, Reese Witherspoon's character was
Oh yeah, she's
very bad.
just as bad as any of them. Right?
I don't know who that girl was. Not Cecile. Not his affair woman. Not even his
Well,
assistant. But
she kind of sucks too. Yeah.
the woman that he brings in from like the street.
The
and-
prostitute.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
prostitute. Yeah.
Um,
The one who gets chainsawed.
yeah.
All right, so a quick pause in like the critical thinking and stuff like that for a quick trivia note is that Bale actually method acted this role both before when he was auditioning and while on set. So American accent, and if you don't know Christian Bale's natural voice, it's like a Scottish like accent. So most people didn't know that he actually even had a Scottish accent on set whenever they were filming with Bale, because this is like his pretty big breakout role.
Yeah.
And then whenever he auditioned for the role, he auditioned in front of the author and the director, and they both insisted that he needed to stop because it was like bothering them that much.
Dang.
Which, I think says a lot of good things and how it got put into the movie and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, something about seeing Bale naked running with a chainsaw
Dude
that's
was
just
naked over
covered in
this
blood.
movie, yeah.
Oh man, this movie wants to hang dong so bad.
It does.
And
I thought of you.
I know, and I thought of me for it too, because there's little moments where it's like back angle
Yep,
shadow
just
dong,
or laying
like
on the bed.
underwear dong, and I'm like,
Yep.
just drop it, buddy, free it out.
Just drop.
Like, this is, you know what, I'm gonna give it points for giving it the dong effort, which is a new award I'm giving to only so
Dude.
far this movie.
It was it was edging. It was edging.
It was
Yeah.
edging.
Yeah.
You're right, man. See, this is not gonna be a squirt like the last time
Oh my
video
God.
we
Oh
did.
my god.
This is gonna be a full load because they
Oh
edged this
God.
one. So, Price, you were less hot on this movie. So I want to hear your side of it because I don't want to, we don't want to be an echo chamber here.
I don't know. It's just like I enjoy the performance of Bale. I mean, I always enjoy movies more usually more that have an anti-hero as the protagonist.
I was about to say,
This movie seemed like it just kept going in circles for me. Like it didn't seem like anything really got accomplished. We started with Christian Bale one way, and he pretty much ends the movie in the same way.
Reese Witherspoon came in every 21 minutes, like every single.
Yeah, you get
No, I
reminded
it.
every
it's-
It's just like it feels like it's just a circle and nothing started and nothing stopped. Like it just was very boring and repetitive to me. Especially like I wanted to like the murder scenes a lot because they put a lot of style into those with him doing the monologues and
Right.
stuff.
Mhm.
But that also got very grating because it just took forever, and I got so tired of him just mumbling off stuff about music that I don't care
Dude,
about.
it
at
No.
was
all.
so good though.
It just
No,
I
Allen
disagree.
scene
The Paul
was
Allen.
so good.
Yeah.
I just got if it was just maybe the one Paul Allen scene, like that would be fine. But he repeats that
he's talking
a
about
bunch of different times, and that
About
just got
different
annoying.
artists.
Yeah,
I
about
sent
different
you
Three
all,
times.
Three times.
I sent you all the music video of Ice Nine Kills that I like a lot, and they do this movie. And
I didn't want to spoil it. So
I
didn't watch it
also
yet.
didn't want to ruin my Psycho bit early and say, wait, this is American Psycho. But
anyway,
wanna
I
say
sent
that.
I sent y'all that music video, and they do not really a parody
Right,
of
kind of
this
like a
movie,
play
but
out of it.
they like recreate the whole movie, and they do the Paul Allen scene
Mhm.
like almost verbatim.
Huey Lewis,
Huey Lewis. Do you like
Huey
Huey Lewis?
Lewis.
No.
and he's like, "Well, in 1970, blah blah blah," and
Right.
it's what was it? Too hip to be square.
Yeah,
No,
Too Hip to Be Square came
I-
out. And I think that really found their groove
I
on
love
that.
it.
So, yeah,
I love that scene.
150%. I would watch that scene like just 100 times over because there's something. And here's the thing about the subsequent viewings, right? Or not the subsequent, but the later scenes that play like kind of homage, right, to like Price's time loop of experience with this, is that as the movie keeps going deeper in, there's this weird effect where none of the words matter, and I think that was something which.
What?
So yes, okay. Let me explain.
What on earth are you talking about?
No. So in these rants, and he's talking about it, and like he's going on about the details and these little intricacies on Whitney Houston and all that jazz or whatever. It's all meaningless banter. Like this is his
Yeah.
pre-programmed things, and there's a point where you start watching it, and I think this is going to be a win, but it doesn't land for Price, so I'm not trying to sell him on it, but I'm just trying to tell him that he's wrong per usual.
I think I'm on board.
Is that he starts talking and you're listening, but it doesn't make sense anymore. It's all just babbling chaos, and this is just structured into sentences that mean nothing really, and it's all just action. And there's something about that is really disorganized and crazy and wild in its insanity that I think does a great job of presenting batshit.
Well, it also doesn't help that like we don't know any of those people. Like
Right, and
Huey-
I don't know,
I don't
right.
know.
If he was
it
like
probably pretty good information.
I'll get there, Price. Hold on. Yeah, so like if I start rambling on about how Deftones, I was like, yeah, earlier on they were more into the new metal category, but whenever White Pony came out and they really hit that nice industrial tits of grunge with it, I think they really found their peak. It would be all babbles. Yes, Price, go ahead.
Why on earth do I want to watch a man babble for 15 minutes if it doesn't mean anything in a movie that I'm watching?
All right, real quick. Did
What
you
does
did
that
you like the
matter?
narration aspect, or was it too?
Some of it was
dexterous?
some of it was okay, but then other times like
Okay.
it indulges itself too much.
It does. It goes a little overboard, but at the same time, I feel like he did it a lot.
The opening monologue crushes. Them.
Back to my point.
Yeah.
Why do you want to watch somebody babble for that doesn't mean anything and it just drags out scenes for like 15
I think the
minutes?
difference is though the performance with it, because like
Yes,
during
yes,
that
yes,
one,
yes, yes.
he
It's
was
not just
dancing,
monologues, right?
He was
It's more
sliding.
about like what's going on in the scene,
Yeah.
less so what he's talking about.
If you were
Right.
to ask me what he said about Huey Lewis in the news, Price, I don't
Couldn't
know what he
fucking
said.
tell
I
you,
don't know
right.
what the hell he said.
One quick aside while we're on Huey Lewis in the news too, though, is the
pull out
detective
a
thing
chainsaw.
where I was like asking like if you think the detective's real. He pulls out a CD
Yeah,
from Huey
he
Lewis
asks
in the
him
news
about
and
it, yeah.
asks him about it,
Uh-huh.
which is a thing that's like, why like
Why would you ever
even
have it?
if he was sure that even if he was real and if he was sure that Christian Bale had killed the guy,
Yeah.
how could he have known that it was that song that they were talking about or any of that kind
So
of
you
stuff?
think that's why it was probably all in his head?
That's why I don't think that detective is real.
Yeah.
And admittedly, as a overall concept and stuff like that, yeah, like I said, it's not about it. If this was a speech scene and there was nothing presented other than that, yeah, I would be like, this is like dumb to a point. But it's not. There is the action, it is the movement, it is the engaging, it doesn't matter. He could say whatever he wants to, and he is going to get these women naked and then abuse them and get into that because that is just like the point. Like there doesn't need to be charisma or winning them over and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. It lands for me because it hits into the themes of just how ludicrous all of it is. That's the point. It's pointing
You know
out.
what it kind of reminded me of was Ace Ventura, like his like crazy mannerism, like.
Yeah, no, that's.
And I
not-
hate Ace Ventura. Like I don't think that
Oh,
that's,
actually,
that's a
Talking
great,
with his
it-
butt.
basically.
I mean, effectively, that's all it is. Like, it could've
everything
been
body
that.
language was
Yeah.
just like whenever he was going crazy,
Mhm.
no pun intended, psycho.
You know what
but
this movie reminds me of is Vampire's Kiss by Nicolas Cage, because it is a very similar movie, but
don't let him
Vampire's
put that on the wheel.
No,
Yeah, I
shut
won't.
it down.
Vampire's Kiss
Shut it
is-
down.
Mhm.
Vampire's Kiss is the much worse version of this.
Oh my God.
It's the same thing where it's this like high profile office working New York guy that is going crazy and hallucinating things, except his crazy is he thinks he's been turned into a vampire.
It's a Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
I feel like I've heard this premise before, but I've never watched
I've
this movie.
probably
This-
mentioned it before.
That's
This
probably what it
It's
is.
really,
Yeah.
really bad.
I think the reason why I think this movie like landed more so for me too is like I got a lot of Dexter vibes from it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
start to finish.
I mean, probably just because of all the like preparation
Yes.
to the like areas before the slaughter, but then you kind of notice like mentally he's getting very sloppy.
He gets
towards
out
the
of it,
end.
yeah, at the end because he
Like he
doesn't
starts
care.
off so organized and then very quickly just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah. Which is kind of what Dexter did. I mean, his psyche of
Sketch
like,
gets
oh
me
yeah,
some
this
trivia.
is the reasoning. This is the
love
reasoning now. I'm
and
giving myself more
Vampire's Kiss.
justification and so on.
Almost half of Dexter was terrible though.
Well, just the tail
It's still
end.
worth watching, like just to finish it and just be like, all right, well, yeah, it got off its rocker, but
See, and I agree,
Cool.
but also we're the two people who went back and watched the like
yeah,
return and
you won't ever
finale
watch
season.
the newest
No,
one.
because the last like 4 seasons were utter trash.
No, there was a good one with
Where his
Tom
sister
Hanks'
fell
son.
in love with him
Oh,
and
yeah, Roy.
Yeah, that was a good.
all
scene.
that stuff.
Yeah,
Alright,
that part
well,
rolls off,
back
but that's
to
not
American
the point.
Psycho.
Psycho, right? Is yeah, I think it's fun. It's fun. Other last second trivia note before we get to wind down, unless Mason's got.
I really liked I liked that the assistant girl did not die.
Yeah, no,
She was
so
it's the
close
first
to
death that felt
home.
tense. I think.
Yeah,
yeah.
like you, and I'm
yeah,
glad
like that would have been such an obvious.
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Then he's caught.
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
and he draws back, even though I think he was obviously about to do it until he got a phone call.
So I think that was like the one person he might have actually been getting ready to really kill.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it just like he pulled away from it.
Because
Or
she's so clearly concrete, real.
the
on
planet's
this one.
line where just
well,
it
and like
happened.
then like her investigating his stuff and everything. Like everything about that seems like the interaction that she had with him actually happened. Whereas the rest of this stuff, nobody actually died.
Yeah, nobody can really confirm it in really any other way, but I think that's kind of some of the ambiguous ending charm to it is that even the lawyer, there's something to be said. Is this lawyer just doing his job and being like, you need to shut up?
Wink, wink,
Yeah,
wink.
I don't care if you murder those people. It is my
I
job
think
to
the
perpetuate
director said that she wished she had made it way more vague towards
Right,
the end.
yeah.
Like
Really?
it was made a little too concrete with the lawyer.
that is like second guessing it, but it's
Yeah.
supposed to be left as
No, because then I would hate it because you're just like, okay, so they never actually found bodies, or they did it,
Right.
and they just didn't care.
Well, there's
Like,
something to be said if that woman just wants to protect her property value, and if there's murders and stuff that she didn't clean it up, and she's very like, get out.
Yeah, that
Like-
was why I was like, something happened. I
Right.
think because she's just being like, you need to leave.
Also-
Like,
yeah.
okay.
Like, and he's
I don't
like,
know.
I think I do.
Like you're right.
You're
I
right.
don't even know why I'm here right
yeah.
now.
Yeah. Also, I just really like the opening monologue. I like that it raps where he's just like, you can touch me, you can hold my hand, but I'm simply not there and appealing. Of that face mask. Anyway.
Oh my god, the whole description of his morning.
Yeah, the morning
routine.
Yeah.
It's
Like-
one of those ones you could listen to him talk about nothing
Yeah.
for a while, which is again why I go back to the talking later and
It
how
was
it's
delightful.
It is. I think I like this upcomer Christian Bale. I hope he gets a good pickup here soon.
Yeah, I really hope this guy's career takes off.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not that Jared Leto fellow though. You keep putting him in trash movies.
he was delightful too.
no, he
He
actually
really
He
was.
was. Yeah.
The only person I really I just did not like was Reese Witherspoon's character.
Yeah, that's her design too. So she
Well,
did
yeah,
that
exactly.
there,
She was
so.
just this like, what did he say? Supposedly, I'm engaged to her.
Yeah.
Or supposedly, she's my fiance. But little does she know I'm having an affair with this person. But I'm pretty sure she's having an affair with that person. Blah blah blah.
I will say the one. Okay, so there's one last flaw I want to pick up on really quick. Is that the flaw I think that sticks out the most is like the strangest thing to me, and I know it's a different time period and everything, but it is them being fully suited up business folk going to these weird industrial goth bars and clubs.
Yeah.
And it's like they got to the scene of The Matrix, but they were dressed for Wolf of Wall Street, and they said, "Fuck it, let's roll with it." And it is so out of place.
It does look out of place, but it may not actually have been out of place because they're supposed to be like New York.
Right, I guess
yuppies.
they're New York. They are New York dudes who are snorting coke and/or sugar sometimes.
They
so-
don't have
Yeah,
nice enough
like,
bathrooms to store
sweetener.
coke in.
Yeah,
I mean, their contemporaries at the time
yeah.
might have been that crowd. I don't know. I don't know what's normal then, but I feel like that's actually
In a modern lens, it's
like
a strange
that
thing to
probably
see.
wasn't. That probably wasn't. Just a big mistake on their part. That
No.
probably was fairly accurate.
Yeah, it is. It's my thing looking forward backwards that I'm like, I wouldn't ever expect to see like in a Matrix like warehouse goth club rave dudes in suits.
Yeah.
Now them snorting coke, I see like that part makes sense, but then, well, it's sweetener. Well, I imagine if we keep snorting enough of it, then we'll get something out of it.
I think the word that I got so sick of by the end of this movie was fucking reservations.
Oh my god.
I don't
yeah.
know why.
What's
if
the
you want to
restaurant?
talk about in the 80s what was big, reservations must have been just monumental. They must have been groundbreaking.
I'll
at
tell
the
you something
time.
that's more important than reservations, and it's the only part I can genuinely say I like top to
Tell me.
bottom, was the business cards.
Oh,
When they started talking about
yes.
business cards, that
Yeah.
was easily my favorite
That
part.
was so good.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
like, fucking
He was
Yeah.
sweating
Sweating yes, profusely.
on plain
Yeah.
white.
I'm playing like eggshell with pure dark red.
Eggshell.
That's the business major in you though, Price. You're like, oh yeah, I do fuck with
Yeah,
that.
that's all. I thought
Did
that
you
part was
immediately go order a
hilarious.
fresh new card after that?
I don't have cards.
Why not? You don't have cards?
No.
Hell,
You
even
know
I
what?
have cards.
It's also weird how few cards they had in their.
Just
I
little-
know, there's
one,
like
in
three
that
or
little
four.
There was
container.
one.
Oh yeah,
There was
there's
one.
like one card.
It was like a cigar holder. It was just
Yeah.
like a.
Well, it was like less and less the more they pulled it out. Like I feel like it started with like
I don't even know
this
if they
tiny,
started
and
with
by
more
like
than one.
by like the second or last one, it's just the one card in the case. Yeah.
Yeah, like in the beginning, there's like one guy who maybe had 3 or 4 cards.
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
very
So-
quickly they were just like the one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's from Silicon Valley, Gavin.
Yeah, that's who it was. Gavin Belson.
Yeah,
I had to look it up because I was like, I
he's
hate
so
this
different.
guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And sure enough, he's very hateable. Like
Yeah.
he later on too.
Well,
I have a question.
Oh.
If
Alright.
you don't,
No, please do take the question. Take
All
Alright,
the
which,
question. we'll
which
go
is
into
the
shape.
better scene, the Huey Lewis,
Jared Leto scene?
Jared Leto, or the business card? Because my God,
Business card is
I think it's close.
easily.
Jared Leto. That one, even if I've seen it, that's the one scene I'm incredibly familiar with after this movie's been out and I haven't watched it. and it still lands. Like, just the struts.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Is that a raincoat? It is!
And like the animation of him like whipping his fingers over to the.
You ever see this? Yeah, every bit of that is just eking charisma.
Oh, you sold
This
me.
is his genuine self, right? Like, this is him letting the facade drop.
As soon as that front door closes of his flat,
Yeah.
he turns into his actual self.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll go with that one too. You sold me because of the raincoat.
The
thing.
rain-
It is.
It is! It's just so much fucking
But that
glee.
business card one, you're right.
No,
Bryce.
but the
That-
business clean. Yeah, I'm not gonna undersell the business card scene. Him, I really want to replace that with Final Fantasy trading cards, like and like just meme it.
Is that a full
Is that-
art?
Is that a full art
Gosh.
meme?
I feel like that. Means
That's yeah. It has to be
that-
Magic card memes out there already.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
like Pokemon cards.
That-
But yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up. I had forgotten all about
I
it.
actually did too. But yeah, see, this movie is just it has so many little good moments in it.
Top to bottom.
Top bottom.
Want to watch it again?
Yeah. Can we?
I would. Let's get into the shape of this movie. So, Fat Finn, perfectly fit. Perfectly fit would be Christian Bale in this movie because he makes a big point of that.
I'm up to 1,000
Squats.
squats a morning.
Thought crunches.
Crunches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which,
squats
like,
are tough.
seriously?
Yeah, Jesus.
That's, oh my god.
That's an insane amount of
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
It's crazy just because
I'd
of that.
die.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I'm like,
Dylan will be fine.
I'm a specimen.
I think he probably
Yeah.
does 2,000 a morning.
Oh, 3,000.
Easy. The only thing that slows me down is the eating breaks.
the ski
breathing.
daddies. Yeah.
The ski daddies
Yeah.
and the cheesecakes.
Ski
I've ordered. But see, the trick is you just put it right
Texas
above
toast.
me and I keep coming up for bites.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it's the trick. But I do get 2,000
Burn
in.
all the calories as you go back down.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's the trick. That's the trick.
Maybe a timer.
Nathan.
So, is this movie fit? Yes. I guess.
There's a big old fat butt coming.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, like, because
It might have a
ultimately,
little
like,
left handle.
towards the end, I'm a little disappointed that it's all just, like, well,
Ambiguous.
it's all been pulled back, and what do you know, it was all fake.
Or not.
Because I don't know, like, yeah, they got kind of repetitive, and yeah, it was, like, kind of rolling over the same things, but, like, as scenes that they were, I don't think any of them were bad scenes. It wasn't until towards the end where it all fell apart that I feel like it kind of got bad. But there needed to be some kind of resolution, so I don't think you can cut that, but I don't know. Maybe do what the director said and don't have the lawyer scene if you want to cut something. See how that lands for you.
That would be so insane for the narrative, though, to leave that open. That's, like,
Yeah.
way too open-ended.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that if the lawyer scene hadn't been in there, I would have actually disliked this movie
Yeah.
because why didn't he get caught? Like I would have assumed that everything did happen because everything else was so much more vague. I see what you mean, where she was probably like after it was already cut and everything, and if it was already stapled and everything. But yeah, I mean you're right. It's fit. I just wish they would have gone in a little different direction.
Mm.
I mean, hell, make him go to jail. Like, I don't care. Give me something at the end of this movie. Like,
Mhm.
because it was flat. It landed.
Well, you can almost see it going into like a very abrupt suicide by cop.
100.
Right.
I thought he was going to
Yeah.
blow up the building.
I think
at some
I
point.
thought it was
Like,
going to start going Scarfacey at a point,
Yeah, I
right?
didn't-
Like,
I didn't know
just
what was
standoffs
gonna
or
happen.
something like that.
which is good.
Right, I
Like,
like...
nothing happened.
If you want to see how this insanity ends in a different way,
So-
watch Vampire
No,
Kiss.
man, we're not
I
going
was
to do
I was
it.
gonna say American Psycho 2.
Or, I thought we were just
I
going to
might
watch
watch that
Psycho. But, yeah, like this... I would say this movie's fit, because I don't remember... This is the one... I didn't keep up with the runtime. It was like a little over 2 hours?
No, it's hour 48.
Hour 40, damn.
It was, yeah. I
Damn,
think
that's
mine said
good.
154.
Yeah, this movie's fit. I think the only thing that I kind of wish was a little different in like the editing war table is how extreme it gets when he starts blowing up a cop car with a handgun.
Even I just watched it too.
Even
It's like,
right, and I do like that he's perplexed by it. Like, is this
Yeah.
happening? Like, he's questioning it all at this point. I think that's good, but it's also just it's almost a little too excessive even for me and what the message is trying to get across. That's the only part that I felt like pushed the envelope a little too unbelievably, in my opinion. Well, and the chainsaw's still running after he lets it go, but I'm willing to let that slide because that's art. So, him drawing it in the
was art.
crown in the table,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, this motherfucker. Anyway, Bryce.
This movie's definitely fat. I don't know how you can say it's not fat. It's really surprising to me, just because it's like it just goes in circles. There are monologues that go on too long. There are scenes. The same scene happens so many times with him sitting with his friends. Like they use the same scene template like 2 or 3 different times. Like him sitting with his friends and just doing nothing. They use that scene about 4 or 5 times. They use the same killing people scene about 4 or 5 times. It does the same thing over and over. This movie could easily be a short movie, in my opinion. This could be like a 45-minute short film. Like this, it was way too long. Maybe it's my fault for sitting down and fully like watching the movie and not doing anything on the side, like playing a game or something. But man, it felt real long to me.
I feel like it's shade at you.
I feel like the scenes where he's sitting with his friends is just like in the moment. It's supposed to make you feel a little bit more and more like, is something going to happen? Is he going to crack? Or, like,
Well,
snap on
that and
them.
also, every time that he actually had a sit down with his friends, I was trying to figure out who the hell each one of them were, because they all had very generic like businessman names.
and that's
Red's
so
by design,
that was
too.
also
Paul
completely
is.
by design, because
Right.
the whole thing
Yeah.
is like he's supposed to be like they're all so similar to one another that
Right.
even in the beginning of the film
They can't even
in,
tell themselves
like,
apart.
well, yeah, because like
Paul Allen. Thinks
Paul
that
Allen
he's-
goes up to Bale and thinks that he's
Thinks
somebody
that he's
else.
the other guy, Dave,
Yeah,
or
Mitchell or something
instead
like
of
that.
Pat Bateman.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're all just obsessed with like what they're wearing. and
Right.
Oh
all
my
that.
gosh, that suit.
It's something.
Like we go to the same barber, but let's be honest, my
Yeah.
haircut's better.
Yeah, my
like-
that's better. Fucking just jerking off all day long, man. Can you imagine? So anyway, we're back on the
FM
loads and
squirts.
squirts talk again. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it back to that, but it's just dudes jerking off this movie. Ram Ranch. Anyway.
There you go. You gotta
Yeah,
mention
there's a
it.
reference.
You gotta mention
We're
it,
trying
bro.
we're trying to appease Grumpy Baby at the back here. We're just like, you want Ram Ranch reference here. I saw that randomly in like a Reddit comment that had nothing to do with anything, and I was like, God damn it, Price, is this you?
I don't know how I get thrown in with Ram Ranch all the time. I think I played
Because
it once.
You're the
around
only one
here.
who's played it ever.
Yeah, but your one
Whatever.
sparked everything else.
Alright,
Yeah,
let's-
it made us watch
yeah.
Brokeback Mountain.
Let's do.
Yeah.
I thought you
It
would.
did.
I thought you would have
Yeah.
liked it. Thought you were on board.
So are we ready for scores?
Score. Start us up, Sour Quest. Let's go.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you're on the tail end
You
of
don't
me,
like
so.
me to, but it's whatever.
No, it's fine.
This movie goes in circles. It's extremely repetitive. It's got a few good scenes, but I just feel like I'm in a time loop watching this movie. It just goes on way too long. It indulges itself too much. And the worst part about it for me is that it feels like the director is like talking down to me. Like we're at the end, like you don't like it's ambiguous as to whether or not that it's real. And I really don't like that it feels like it's just a waste of time because I don't know if like it actually happened or it didn't. Some people may like the ambiguity. Obviously, it seems like these three do, but I do not. If it leaves like a little hint of ambiguity at the end, that's fine. But this feels like either all of it was real or none of it was real, and therefore it'd be pointless. But Christian Bale gives a good performance that I really did enjoy. There are some good moments in it. Some of it's too over the top. Like, I really started hating this movie right when he got, like, it said, "Feed me the stray cat." And then, like, him
God,
shooting up
that's-
the cops and the helicopters coming after him. I was like, this has to be a dream. And then it keeps going. And it never says exactly if it's a dream or not. So, I wasn't a fan of this movie. I'm giving it a 2.5.
What Price just said about the ambiguity, I agree. I wish that it was either this or that. I don't think... There's a lot of movies out there that are smarter than me. I don't think that this is one of them. I think I had this one pinned.
Yeah.
And I think it tried to be, but it wasn't. That's my only qualm with it.
Mm.
Half of this movie was fantastic. It was gearing up to be a 9 to a 9.5. I shit you not. But as soon as
Dang.
that feed me the cat bullshit started, I was
Mhm.
like, okay. And then it just kept toppling. For a psychopath that was so organized, he got so messy, so sloppy, so sweaty.
God, so much sweat.
By the end of this movie, I was like, do better. But I'm also agreeing with Bryce. I think this is one of the best roles we've had this season.
As a character, yeah.
As a character. Even his
Agreed.
crazy over-the-topness, like I said, Ace Ventura,
Mm-hmm.
but a way better version. I'm still going to give it a 7.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give it a 7.5, but the ending of this movie was just... It made me question the entire thing, and I didn't like that because it was so good. It was so damn good.
You know, sometimes a movie, the ending making you question the whole thing is like, it breathes a great deal of life into it and makes it that much more interesting.
If you want to dive into, and maybe that's what I should have done. Maybe
Well,
I should have.
It makes you want to reflect the whole movie again just to see like.
I was gonna say this one is not that case.
Okay.
Though. Like I don't think this is that sort of movie. Like the only thing that I think you might be able to like dig a little nugget of like, oh, that might be kind of interesting is just like, is the detective real or not?
Yeah.
Everything else is just like, yeah, so he didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
Like he almost certainly didn't kill anybody. None of this actually really happened.
Yeah.
This movie is humming along real good until it gets so cheesy with that feed me the cat thing.
I like that we
and
all
the
get hung up
throwing
on this
car.
part, too.
That's the
Yeah.
moment where it just stumbles and smashes
thing
right
was-
into the ground.
As soon as the screen said "Feed me the cat," I laughed. I was like,
I
"Oh,
did
here
too.
we
Yeah,
go.
I was like,
Here's another bit.
oh my God,
Here's
yeah.
another fun part." And then he got a
He just
gun.
shoots the old woman.
Yes, he just shoots everyone.
At that point, it's just let's just play Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yes.
Like
Yep.
let's just put it.
Well, and like he didn't even have a gun. up
No,
no, he
until
just
that
he's
moment.
never had a gun up until that point, right?
Yeah. So, man, I'm so bothered by the end of this movie because it's funny, it's smart, it's good in so many other ways. I'm gonna give it a 6.5, I guess.
But you still hold on to the belief that none of it happens. That's your ending.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and
Yeah,
that's
like
fine.
almost certainly.
I just wish it would have
Because otherwise,
done that.
they're
Pick a lane.
Yeah.
there was enough time elapsing in all this. There's no way that something somewhere someone doesn't like
Notice.
at least
Right.
yeah like
Well,
because
let's be
he was
honest,
in
it's all sloppy.
he was in what's his name's apartment
Yeah.
with
Paul
all
Allen.
these bodies. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
He
he
leaves a voicemail with his
Paul
actual
Allen's
voice.
apartment was a fucking crime scene.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I
Well,
mean,
you
there
have
was a
to
detective actively investigating
Right.
his disappearance. If that really was the case and it had gone on as long as it had, there's no way dude is just hanging out in his apartment.
But again, this is the '80s versus this movie
Yeah,
was made in 2000.
But think this guy, Paul Allen, was super rich
You're right.
and very white.
Yeah.
Very white. So
You're
he's
right.
gonna walk. He's gonna, unlike even maybe detective. Like,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cultural consideration in that part as well. But
That's why I just tied into it because like it's the '80s, man. Like
I
I don't know.
I don't know. And the gift and the curse of it being ambiguous is I actually land on the other way. I think it happens. I think that for the most part this is not the feed me cat onwards part.
Yeah.
That's a little too much, right? I don't think that happens. I think up until then, I think that he probably kills a couple people. Like there's a narrative in my head that I
he kills
think
the homeless man.
I think he kills the homeless guy. I think he kills a hooker. I don't
think he kills the hooker.
I think he does.
I think he only kills the homeless guy, and he almost works up enough nerve to kill his assistant.
Yeah, the nail
and that's
gun.
it.
Yeah. That's why I give this movie.
But
props.
see, but again, that's either here or there. Neither of us are confirmed right or wrong on that. That's just it's left with that narrative on that one.
Well, the
and
homeless guy was the very first thing
Yeah,
that came
that one,
along. So
right.
I mean, yeah, sure, that one.
he did stomp a dog, which was not super cash money
You know
to me. I'm waiting for the sequel that's not American Psycho 2, where it's John Wick tie-in universe.
God.
Of course, it's his fucking dog.
He didn't kill
So-
the dog.
No, he stomped
He
the shit out of
about
that
3
dog.
times, which
I
I was
think
like,
this movie could be remade and be a lot more interesting.
oh yeah.
Hell, I'd still have bailed the lead
No, I
role,
mean,
though.
sure.
He's still
sure,
good.
Like,
Anyway,
bring him back.
yeah.
He did great.
Let's jam the score out and then go into spinning the wheel. Man, I think I landed with an 8 on this.
Okay.
8 feels right. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I like ambiguous ending movies whenever it feels like it does something good for a movie. And, again, that's a subjective landing if it helps it or if it hurts it in some ways. But I think that this being
Change mine to a 3.
this being
Okay.
such a
I'm gonna go 3.
we've gone to a 3 now.
Yep.
Keep talking.
Yeah, so
Keep talking.
all right, just making sure. Price put it at a 3. He's actually unsure of his score, but yeah, there's something about a movie that has the whole Jared Leto scene. I'm smiling from ear to ear. Him pounding the girls and looking at himself flexing and stuff like that. That's like a little bit because of memes now, I'll admit, but I think that's just entertaining. Just seeing the lights off, lights on of humanity in Christian Bale's performance. And I think one of the funniest things is I've heard there was one of the critics that he had pointed out, I think he had said in an interview, he's like there was a couple critics who were like, this man can't act. Like they were like, this man is fucking the worst actor I have ever seen. And I gotta like how totally on the line like the performance is. It is so strange and bizarre and weird, but it's so charismatically interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just does enough to carry me through, even through some of the chalky moments. Feeding the ATM a cat is like, we all are like, hold up. In this part,
like at this
especially.
point, it's, all right, cool. Another
Yeah, at
another
this
fun
point
ride,
I'm
let's
like,
do it.
alright,
And
but
then-
it gives you a little bit of that sanity where he's just like, is this fucking real? I just blew up a car with a hand. Like, if that moment kind of helps me get through it, because that little chunk, I was with you all. I was like, what the fuck? Like, did he just blow this random lady away? Is this really Grand Theft Auto on? But whatever, I still enjoyed it enough to put it at an 8. Critics and other people, us other people liked it at a nice whopping 85%. So most people walked away liking this movie, relative on that one. 69% on Rotten Tomatoes, nice. On the critic score side of things. So
critics know.
critics
69.
got right to 68 and said one of us has to do it.
Who wants
And
to
Price
be
said,
this?
put my 2.5 to 3, and then it went to 69%. So good to know that they had a really similar experience to us.
Yeah.
About 2/3, a little bit more tracks on that one. Without further ado, let's spin this wheel.
Let Nathan spin it. You hold it and let Nathan spin
No,
it.
but I always spin the best spins.
He's gonna spin mine.
Probably. Oh, okay.
All right.
Spin it from
Ready?
the pegs, not the wheel.
Let's see what we got.
Comic book movie.
That is.
Oh, that'd be me, and I don't care. I'm going with
It better be Blade 2. So help me.
The Incredibles.
Oh my
Of
god.
course. Shut
The
up.
original Incredibles.
The original Incredibles? The
Yeah, not the
1987?
What?
The French version?
Psycho.
Are we watching the American or
The European Incredibles.
Not falling for this.
Les
bitch.
Incredibles.
That was good.
Got you fucking good.
All right,
Let's
well,
get the
I guess-
trailer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah, we have a whole
Wait,
thing.
see all
Come
this
on,
gold
it's-
at the
it's
end?
It's The Incredibles.
See-
We've seen this
Do
trailer.
what?
See all this gold at the end? That's you, man.
I know. I like
Look
there was
back.
none like up here, and
No.
then
What?
those
So
right
it's like
there.
price.
I know. Somehow
Yeah,
I'm
price,
ahead in
price.
picks now. This is like the only mystery wheel pick like the categories that like I've been really wanting and excited to do. Glass and Raging Bull were not
Bro,
that.
you did both.
You
of
did
those.
both
I don't
of
wanna-
those.
I don't
What
Those
do
wanna-
you
were
mean?
those were categories.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you had
you
your
picked
choice
them.
from a billion others.
You went to a buffet and picked the fucking worst thing at the buffet twice.
Yeah.
Those were both misses.
Yeah, by you. What do you mean? I'll tell you right now, I'm only gonna watch the Rule 34 version of this movie.
Is there what?
It's just Miss Incredible like dumpy the whole time.
Yeah. It's just mad thick.
Is that not just normal?
Yeah,
That's
version?
actually just the
This
regular
is a
version
really
of this movie.
boring introduction.
We
I'm
are
gonna
back
go
to the
trailer.
OG Price.
Yeah, we're back,
We're back to Kung
OG.
Fu Panda.
Oh yeah,
Kung Fu
DreamWorks
Panda
Pixar.
animated.
Megamind.
Yeah.
We're back to this.
Megamind.
This is what happens when you spin the wheel. See what
Oh, so it's my
Nathan, you're
fault.
retired.
I'm spinning this wheel from now on. I've been nothing but banging.
It's his
I mean,
fault.
I'm sure The Incredibles will be fine.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
we've all seen it.
Yeah.
You've seen it? Yeah, we've all seen it.
It's been a really long time for me though.
I've seen it approximately one time.
I think I just rewatched it like a couple of years ago because Hannah hadn't seen it. And I think
Can we vow to ourselves to only talk 1 minute about the super suit and Frozone part?
Frozen's cool.
Yeah, where's
Frozen's
my
super
super
cool.
suit? Like,
This is not a trailer.
No, this is the trailer.
I mean, it says classic trailer.
Yep.
Oh. Because
This
I thought that there was
I
an
think
S
this
at
is
the
how
end of the
they
movie.
announced
No.
this must be because
This
Yeah.
is The Incredible. Yeah, that was definitely like a teaser.
that had to have been a teaser
That's okay.
or something.
We
It
get
said
it.
classic trailer.
Yeah,
I don't
it's,
care.
Well, that's
Yeah, look.
well. See, yeah, trailer 1. It is. It's the first trailer. There you go.
Yeah.
Nah, who cares?
See, back in 2004, they didn't care. Trailers weren't the mini movies that they are now. But
True.
They weren't
It's
trying
Paddington.
to
He's looking for a
spoil
job.
anything.
Yeah.
Ooh, Paddington.
Oh,
I've
gosh.
always wanted to see Paddington. I haven't
yeah,
seen
and yet you've
that.
never picked it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've never.
Wow.
That was
Anyway.
a Bible study or Bible school.
It probably is.
Yeah.
One of those VeggieTales knockoff kind of
Yes.
things.
Anyway, guys, that's our show. I hope you enjoyed us talking about American Psycho, the American version. And next week we're going to be talking about The Incredibles.
Yep.
The French version.
The French version.
Can we?
Be sure to watch it.
L'Incredibile.
Watch it dubbed in French,
Dubbed
subbed
in
in
French.
English.
Yep. A lot of people have feelings about Syndrome from what I've seen on the women Twitter on this. Apparently he does it for some women.
Syndrome?
I swear to
The
God.
That
The
is.
Crimson Chin?
Swear to God, man. I'll retweet it at you. I'll just put out, hey, we're all the
I
thirsty
would
people
love
for
to
Syndrome.
see it.
Where's the thirst?
Yeah. Anyway, so well, if you thirst Syndrome, let us know in the comments below, you freak, you. And make sure to give us a thumbs up for making sure we put out your fetish on blast. And make sure to hit the bell because you gotta know when we upload these videos. Because sometimes we don't even know. Sometimes it's a mystery, even to us. That's our show, guys. Make sure to tune in next week for L'Incredibile. Thank you. Good night.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
You're talking about Paddington.
Yes, that's what you showed
I
me.
think
the
I
other day.
said-